Hey, what's going on my friends? I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic today, and we're going to be talking about the a7 IV and just the recent firmware update that was released about 3 or 4 days ago now. And yeah, I know I'm a little bit late onto it, but I thought I'd tell you guys and show you guys how to actually update this camera, because I know a lot of people have just gotten this camera, they're brand new, they're beginners, they don't know how to update it. So we're going to go through the full process, and this is something that you should be doing with pretty much every camera, every lens that you have. Try and find if there are recent firmware updates and do that firmware update, because the company that's actually releasing those cameras or lenses, they try and keep the firmware up to date so the autofocus performs better, overall stability of the camera or lenses will perform the best they can actually perform at that time. So this one has 3 major firmware updates. One is to do with the eye autofocus when it comes to photography, which is fabulous. A lot of people have been having problems and they've addressed this issue right now. Now the next one is actually the ability to take photos with a particular lens. Now if you know that really small pancake lens that was released with the A7C, I think it was the 28 to 60 millimeter lens, really small lens, kit lens that was with the A7C. Apparently you couldn't take photos with that, but now obviously they've addressed that issue and in this firmware update, so that is good for the people who actually own that lens. Now the last one is just that overall stability of the camera. Now I know a lot of people have been having problems with overheating and probably menu issues, a little bit of bugs and stuff. This potentially could help with that, because if there are actually bugs in the software inside the camera, and I'm not 100% sure if this is actually going to be fixing that, but obviously Sony engineers are on top of it all the time, releasing firmware updates. So if this is going to help the camera, perform better, then absolutely get this firmware done. So let's get into the steps and process on how to do this firmware update. Just like to jump in here, give this video a thumbs up. That'd be absolutely amazing. Comment below if you have any questions. Literally comment for the algorithm. Say comment for the algorithm. No, don't say that. But anyway, let's get back into the video. Okay, well our first obvious step is obviously getting to the Sony website. So essentially you just type in Sony firmware update into Google and then click on the appropriate links below that will actually say Sony Electronics. I mean, you can go to sony.com/electronics, click on interchangeable lenses, E-mount body, the ILCE7 series, so the interchangeable lens camera E-mount series, then obviously the A7 Mark IV. Now you're going to be choosing between Mac or Windows. It really depends on what computer you're actually using, but obviously if you are on Mac, choose the Mac. If you are on Windows, use the Windows. So click into that, and then all you need to do is download the software. Now obviously read the end user licenses agreement, go right down to the bottom and press download. That download time will vary depending on person to person and obviously your internet provider, but it should take about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, just while we're waiting for that firmware update, I just want to show you guys something quite important and something that you should be doing quite regularly, and that is cleaning the sensor. When I was testing the 16 to 35 Sony lens, I went to the beach, and yes, I did change lenses at the beach. Such a silly idea. If you do change lenses at the beach, you just have to make sure it is fully covered and there's just going to be no specks of dirt going in there or sand. There was like a couple of specks of sand going into the camera sensor, and it did hit the sensor. I don't know if it was sand, but that is not a good thing, and I absolutely recommend do not do that. Now, if that shutter option was down, the sand would actually go on the shutter, and then when you turn the camera on, obviously the sand is still going to be there. So that is why I actually turned off shutter protection, because if it's gonna land on the sensor, then it's gonna land on the sensor, I'll clean it. But if it lands on the shutter, I don't necessarily wanna be cleaning the shutter, and then where's that dirt gonna go? So this is something that is up to you. It's up to your discretion. Whether you turn that shutter protection on or off, it is up to you, but I prefer to have it off. And if there is gonna be dirt going on the sensor, I will clean the sensor. And the way that I clean the sensor is sensor swabs. Now, luckily, Nitecore once again sent me some sensor cleaning kit, which I'm gonna be showing you guys how to clean your sensor. It's very simple, it's very easy, and I do recommend you do this a lot. Right here, a couple of kits. If I find a link, I'll put it in the description below, but Nitecore have that little baby blower that I've been using to clean my sensor. Now this is sensor swabbing clips and obviously the cleaning fluid. It is very simple. I'm gonna demonstrate this on my A7 III right now. Sensor is exposed. Look at that, there's 5 dots on the, oh, I just spat on the sensor. You idiot. You're gonna open up one swab. So this is a full frame swab. They'll have APS-C swabs, they'll have full frame swabs. All you gotta do is open up a fresh swab. So use one swab each time. All I do is take one little drop. That's all it needs is one little drop. Give it a couple of seconds and just one swipe from one side all the way to the other. Very simple. So this sensor fluid evaporates a lot faster than standard fluid, so just give it a couple of seconds, give it one swipe from left to right to left, whichever. Make sure you go on an angle and just clean the sensor like that. It is a simple move, just once over. You don't need to scrub it, you don't need to press down too hard, but just nice and gentle, one swipe, and you're done. It is simple. Now this one does say you can drop 3 to 4 drops onto this, but I only ever drop about 1 drop on here because I feel like 1 is just enough. You don't necessarily need this to be soaking, just needs to be enough so you can just give it a nice little soft swipe and you're done. Now, once you connected your A7 IV to your computer, it will actually pop up with 4 different selections: live stream, image transfer MSC, image transfer MTP, or remote shooting. Now you're gonna be choosing image transfer MSC. That's the second one down. So the image edge will pop up. You can say, don't show this again, or just click OK. And then it will go into USB mode mass storage. Now, once you've done this, go back to your computer and click next. And essentially this is automatically going to go through the firmware update stage. This may take 15 to 20 minutes, it really depends. This one actually took me about 16 minutes. Now all you need to do is just let the camera do its thing. It will turn off, reset, and then start again, and it will automatically update that firmware. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, that would be absolutely amazing. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Check out my links in the description below if you do want to check out my LUT that I'm using on right now for the A7 IV. But other than that guys, I'll see you in the next one, alright? Let's get it.